Hello, welcome back everybody, we're on the ground. I hope you're doing well. If you want to hit that subscribe button, just give it a little tap. A little tap. So this is a follow-up to a video I made on May 7th, 2021. A little over a year and a month ago. This was the video in question. The title being, I'm Not Okay. And in that video, I talked a little bit about my mental health at that point in time and just stuff that was going on. A lot of you guys resonated with it. It was a difficult video to make. It was perhaps even more difficult to rewatch because I was kind of torn between refeeling the feelings and also cringing because, you know, it's like me from a year ago. I feel like we all will continuously always cringe at ourselves a year ago. It's been over a year, like I said, and I just thought it might be useful to do a little bit of an update, a mental health check-in, if you will. Not just for me, this goes out to you too. A year is a long time. A lot of things can change, a lot of things happen, good and bad. I feel like that's a pretty universal experience, but I really like this idea of like looking back at a snapshot in time where you were and comparing that. And I think it also helps just with your own sense of self and just like figuring out who you are, what you feel like, whatever. So basically, last year in that video, I talked about a bunch of different issues that were causing me to feel down and feel the way I was feeling. And, you know, I've always struggled with my mental health anyway. So reflecting on the past year, I just wanted to kind of do a little update. I was thinking about life and I just came to this kind of conclusion, which is like, it's basically the title of this YouTube video, right? Which is like, I'm still not okay. But I mean that in a way of, nowadays, I can recognize that there is a lot of really wonderful things about my life that I can be happy about. And at the same time, I recognize that there's still a long way to go and a lot for me to heal from. All these mental health issues that I had last year, they haven't like disappeared or gone anywhere. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, right? Like, this is the thing. It's a process. It's not like this done, clean-cut thing where you're like, yep, I'm done with depression. I'm done with anxiety. I'm done with whatever. Like, that's not really how it works. It's been kind of, I guess, a little comforting to maybe view it in that way, in that it's like, it's okay that I'm still not okay. I have days, sometimes maybe weeks, where I feel down. It is harder to get up and it is harder to get the stuff on my to-do list checked off, right? It is harder to just function and do normal stuff and keep up with life. And it feels more overwhelming. There are those days. But also what I've learned is if you do the really painful thing of kind of leaning into it a little bit, and instead of kind of trying to distract and avoid thinking about it, if you just focus on it for a little bit, I don't know, sometimes it helps you get a bit more clarity on what's actually going on. If I think about my mental health last year and the way it felt, I would describe it as feeling like this kind of blanket, right? Of like blanket of depression where it's like kind of everything hurt. It was just painful, right? Whereas now, because of, like I said, of this like kind of leaning into the hurt and kind of feeling through it, it's almost like I've been able to narrow down to where it hurts. Instead of being like, oh, my whole entire body hurts, it's kind of like you can get closer to pinpointing exactly where it's sore. I feel like painful sounds more drastic and dramatic, so I think it's also an accurate word. But now, if I can think of it as sore, it's like it's sore, you know, because it's like sometimes it happens and it comes back and it's really sore. And when you have a wound or something, like, it can be sore, it can be super painful. Sometimes you can forget about it if you're doing something else, and sometimes it might be okay, but sometimes it's really sore. If something, you know, triggers you, or if something comes up in your life that makes you, bumps you in that spot that hurts, then it hurts. It's been interesting trying to think of it that way, and being able to find those spots that hurt also means that you can try and find the spots that don't, and that are good, and that maybe don't need so much work or so much healing. I don't know if any of this makes sense. It makes sense in my head, and it's been helpful to think of it that way. And it's been a little bit anxiety inducing as well as calming at the same time to kind of think of it that way, that it's like, it's been a year and I'm still not okay, right? And I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be like, oh, I'm 100% okay. I don't know if that happens. I don't know. I think it's good that I continue to want to do work on myself. And I think we all should, as humans, I think we should all strive to do that. That's why I think it's kind of like, if you look back on yourself a year ago and you don't cringe a little bit, maybe you've done something wrong. Because I feel like a year, so much change can happen and so much growth can happen. One of the things that I was talking about in that video was how, sometimes when we're dealing with difficult things, me anyway, let me speak from my experience, right? Sometimes if I'm going through something, I'm not great when it comes to talking about my feelings. I've gotten a lot better. I'm still not perfect. But one of the sort of tendencies that I might have is, you might think like, oh, maybe I should just like tweet something, or maybe I should just put something on my Instagram that's kind of like, I don't know, either passive aggressive or just plain angry or frustrated, like whatever is the emotion that I'm feeling. And the difficult thing that I have done this past year, and like, don't get me wrong, before in the past, if you rewatch that video, I say that usually I would stop myself from doing it and instead just share something like, have a good day instead, just to like put out something positive instead. And that hasn't necessarily changed, though I will say perhaps this past year I've been a lot more tempted to do that more often, just because of stuff that happens in my life. And I've kind of had to sit back and do the kind of really annoying thing of like having to step back and like objectively look at yourself and your own actions and be like, what am I doing right now? I step back and I would think, what is the purpose of me sharing that tweet? What am I trying to achieve if I'm either retweeting or tweeting something that's like passive aggressive, whatever. What is it? As annoying as it is, humans are simple. All it is attention. If something's going on with us, all we want is for either whoever's causing the hurt to us or just someone that we're close to. All we want is for them to notice and give us attention. I've stopped myself from doing that, but the extra action that I've been doing is usually when that happens, I try to like counsel myself through it. If there is a specific person that have caused me to feel like this, nowadays, I will try to do the difficult thing of like facing it head on. And I mean, it's definitely more effective than tweeting about it, for sure. Is it more difficult? Yeah, it is. If any of you are sitting out there feeling like, well, you know what? It's a year has gone by and my life's not better. Because that can happen sometimes. But I just want you to remember to not look at progress as being this linear thing. It's not point A to point B where you either move forwards or you move backwards. That's a little too simple to fit like our human experience. That's just not how it works. A setback does not erase all the work and all the other amazing things that got you to where you were before you had the setback. All of that is not automatically undone. The foundation is there. You've done that work. That work doesn't just disappear. So recognize that too. And I completely understand. When it feels low, it hurts and it's hard and it's really, really hard to get through. So only advice I can have for you is lean into the introspection sometimes, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts, I guess, and reach out to the people around you. There are people around you that love you, that care for you, that want to make sure you're okay. So don't suffer in silence. Try, and I say this with full recognition that there are days where this feels impossible and perhaps maybe is impossible, but the only constant is we're moving, right? The clock is ticking. We have the next moment. Try and celebrate the good in life too. And celebrate it while it's happening, because it's easy to kind of look back and be like, oh my God, my life was so good a month ago. My life was so good a year ago. I had, I did this, I did that. But when you were in those moments, did you appreciate them? So now, if you're in a good moment, live it, appreciate it, and just be present, okay? Because you know what? This is the only way I've found to slow time down, because time It feels like it's ticking by so fast, constantly moving, right? Honestly, I blink once and it's the end of the week already, and it's another week, and it's another week, and now we're already in June 2022. How? So we have not managed to figure out time travel just yet, but I can tell you how to slow down time, and it is to just be in the moment. This is so stupid because so many people say this and it's so cliche, but put that phone down. I have, when I'm around people and I'm trying to have a conversation, I'm trying to connect, I'm just trying to experience something, a place, whatever, the phone goes away and I'm just there because that's all we have at the end of the day, life. So experience it, live it, the painful parts, the happy parts, and the most amazing parts. Don't forget that those exist, even when it doesn't feel like that. But you got this, and I've got this, and I hope to maybe do another update next year and see where we're at. I hope you guys took something from this. Please let me know what you thought. Thank you for joining me on this tumultuous journey. Life is just so interesting. I don't think I could ever predict what's ever gonna happen, honestly. I'll see you again next week. I hope you have a great day, have a great life. Goodbye.